Dear Shambra, we talked about it the other night on our radio program. We talked about this issue of trust. And it's very, very important to understand where you are. You don't have to assign it a number, but do you really trust yourself implicitly? Do you trust your body? Do you trust your choices? Do you trust your decisions? Do you trust spirit? Do you trust life? Do you trust living in this world right now that's filled with a lot of chaos? Do you trust absolutely being yourself without abandon? Standing up in front of a group and singing, doing something outrageous. Do you trust that this whole part of your journey that you're in right now, called your spiritual enlightenment awakening, is real? Or is it just more junk? You see, so I bring this point up and I kind of push on it to irritate it. Where are you with trust in yourself? Because it's going to be hard to go forward, or let's say expand much more, if you don't at least understand your level of trust. Now, it's not even that you have to trust yourself 100%, but it's about understanding why you don't trust parts of yourself. Talked the other night about, well, let me give an example. Let's say that you get up tomorrow morning and you're very nauseous, very sick, sweating, perspiring, throwing up. What's the first thing you do? Run to the toilet, I hope. Second, what did I do wrong? What did I eat that was bad? Click, 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 click through the mind, evaluating everything. Next, what is Spirit trying to tell me? Next, maybe my body is more powerful than my soul, because look at me, I'm getting sick. Now, you deal with it. You do a lot of releasing in the toilet. Well, you're still feeling awful, and you decide to sit down at your computer and do a little work. The phone rings, and you jerk because you're not feeling so good, and when you do, you knock your computer over, smoke comes out, and it burns up. Oh no, this is going to be one of those days, you say to yourself. Why is my energy off? What am I doing wrong? Why is this happening to me? Am I being attacked by spooks, alien beings? Maybe there's an evil energy lurking somewhere in my house. I know I should have called somebody to do feng shui to get out the evil energy, and now they're taking over. So you deal with it, you put out the fire, you realize that you are without computer. So you decide to hop in the car, and you know what's going to happen next. To go down to the computer store. And while you're driving down the street, thinking about your so far miserable day, car accident. Nobody gets hurt, but your car is now smoking. Looks kind of like your computer with wheels. It's totaled. It's totaled. And you say, what am I doing wrong? Now, given all of this, oh, by the way, while you're standing there waiting for the police to show up, you realize you don't have your driver's license or your automobile registration. You left them at home, and you've now pulled out your wallet, and you're looking through that, and somebody walks along and steals it and runs down the street. Now, should have stayed in bed? No. Wrong answer. Question, can you be in such a place of trust to know this is absolutely perfect? And can you actually laugh out loud? I know I created this. God didn't create it. Adamus, no, he didn't create it. The evil spirits didn't create it. I created it. Can you be at that level of trust and say, damn, this is fun? Or at least I know it's going to evolve from this point forward. That's trust. That's trust. Like a few other scenarios while the police are coming. Oh, I won't go there. So that's trust. Every day we, Crimson Council, we get thousands of complaints from Shaumbra around the world. Why is this happening? Well, the answer that we give is because you created it. Why are these things happening in my life? Oh, it must be because I need to go out and take a crystal class, and I need to, take vitamins, and you get all wrapped up. What if you had such a level of trust, you know implicitly that it is perfection? What if all of these things that have happened to you today, and when you call for a taxi now to take you home, you meet somebody, perhaps a taxi driver, perhaps somebody else. Meet somebody that brings such gifts into your life. Maybe money, maybe love, friendship, teachings, whatever. Maybe all of these things that happened were part of the setup of you and what you would call your soul self, which your soul self really doesn't care about all the human incidentals. It wants to be with you. And you've called out for it. And when you did, that brought about a dynamic that's unstoppable, and it's going to happen. And thank God that there's wisdom in your soul that's going to now. Your soul didn't create these accidents, but it was an energy between you and your divine, an energy that was put out there and brings back the manifested experiences to make this all possible, and will continue to bring those experiences in. The soul doesn't really care if your car was smacked, because there are other cars. It doesn't care about your computer because it was time to give it up anyway. It was time to get a new one, because there's things you weren't doing that you could do with a new computer. Doesn't care that you barfed out your guts in the morning because it was releasing some toxins in your body that were stuck down there for a long time. It doesn't care about any of those things because you have a deeper understanding and a deeper wisdom. Now, what gets in the way? That humanoid aspect, that human aspect that doesn't like change, that doesn't want to move forward, that human aspect that doesn't believe its own self. It really doesn't. It doesn't believe itself because the human aspect is not real. It's manufactured. It's an act. And it really doesn't believe itself because it knows it's an act, but unfortunately, you don't know it's an act yet. All these things happening. You break a leg, you lose your job, whatever. What if you had absolute trust? What if you had a big smile and said, my own guidance from myself is allowing these things to happen to get me off the stick or whatever it is, to move things forward, to continue to expand. And the question is, can you have that level of trust? That's a big one. Can you have that level of trust when a wave of anxiety comes over you, as it has done lately, and say, everything is in perfect order in my life, in your life. If you miss an airplane, if you slip on the ice and fall and mess up your back, can you have that level of trust? Can you? Now, an interesting thing happens. I'll give you the end of the story. When you choose that, then you don't need to have all those things happen because you've already gotten unstuck. So part of you is fearing, oh my God, if I go into trust, I'm gonna lose my job, and my partner's gonna walk out on me, and my dog's gonna die, and oh my God, look at all the things. It's only because you're not at a 10, because you're a 2 or an 8 or a 7. The numbers don't matter. If there's any degree of untrust, whether you're at a 1 or a 9.9, it's all the same. It is all the same. So it doesn't matter if somebody said, I'm at a 2, it's the same as a 9.999. You're not trusting. You're not trusting. Very important point. Oh, take a deep breath. You're all getting so heady on me. Oh. What? You're like, well, how do I get in trust with myself? Make a choice and take a deep breath. That's all. And every time, here goes the clincher. In the next week or so, 10 days, week to 10 days, you will have an experience relating back to this very moment about trusting yourself. Something is going to happen, and I didn't say what. I just said something. And it's going to remind you, trigger you to our discussion that we're having here. And it'll give you an opportunity to make a very conscious choice. Do I trust myself? Or do I get into drama? Do I get into questioning? Do I get into feeling that I'm really not worthy? You have an experience. Write it down afterwards. Write just a short little story about it. It helps you ground that energy, and it could also be good for another upcoming book that we'll do together.